So you've come back for more. You sick motherfuckers. Where were we? Oh yes, the Ten Commandments. Just to revisit the adultery thing. Should we go into the stats on this one or would it be a waste of time? Nah, I think we'll just go by the guilty fucking faces and move on, shall we? I think so. Back to the list. To be honest, looking at it I reckon I'm on pretty firm ground cause as I am an atheist the first three about the man himself don't count and on all of the others I'm pretty clean. Ah fuck, I do covet people with fully functioning spinal cords and working bowels. Damn, nearly perfect. Just one further friendly word of warning, I have no control of when I shit and my bowels do have a nasty habit of going off without warning, so it could get a bit messy here. Actually, I was watching one of the fuck knows how many news channels you get now through your satellite dish the other day when this piece came on about the quality of the seawater at Blackpool and I did have a pang of conscience as I feel to some degree personally responsible for the potential meltdown of an entire town's economy. You see, last autumn I spent a week there in this brilliant B&B with my family, taking in the illuminations and like anyone else, when I'm on holiday I tend to overindulge. Now, the only cocktails I ever touch are cocktails of drugs, so getting wrapped ours on holiday isn't an option for me, so I tend to overindulge with food. The only problem was that my owl is a lazy bastard and my stomach bag took a right fucking hammering that week. Late one evening we were taking in the lights and the fucker nearly split wide open and I don't think the Irish Sea has recovered yet from my owl's week-long assault on it. Anyway, where the fuck was I? Oh yes, where does it leave us if we accept that disabled people are being punished for the sins they committed in former lives? The logical conclusion is that disabled people are essentially the souls of evil entities based on the belief that the human body is purely a temporary vessel for the soul, which is itself eternal. Just stop for a minute and think about this. If there is any truth in this bullshit, it doesn't take a huge leap to conclude that half the evil fuckers who have ever lived are living in Britain today claiming disability fucking living allowance. You've got Pol Pot having a stair lift fitted in a sheltered housing complex on the outskirts of Barnsley, and then there's Joseph Stalin popping to Southampton Central Community Centre to the bingo in his mobility scooter. Merthyr fucking Tydfil must be a fucking mecca of evil, with it being the disability benefit capital of Britain. I bet you can't move for evil bastards. So remember, if you're ever there and you're thinking about quickly nipping into a disabled parking bay, you'd better think again. You just might happen to piss off the soul of Margaret Thatcher or maybe Vlad the fucking Impaler, who might just pay you a friendly visit in the dead of the night. Come to think about it, maybe we should rename the Paralympics the Evil Olympics? And talking about the Olympics, surely the ultimate aim is for able-bodied and disabled people to compete against each other. It's not beyond the wit of man, surely, to find a way of leveling the playing field. I say level the playing field. You can't exactly soup us up and you certainly can't dope test us 'cause we've got more drugs in us than Lance Armstrong's remaining bollock. So you have to give the able-bodied a temporary disability. I'm thinking of that thing about sitting on your hand to make it go numb before having a wank so it feels like someone else is doing it. Do that then stamp on their fucking toes with construction boots on before squirting them in the eyes with lemon juice and strapping a plastic bag full of the contents of the average unflushed public toilet. Then see how far they can throw the fucking javelin. Or maybe blindfold use and bolt and see how fast the fucker can run. Or my favorite. Give the gymnastics team 27 shots of tequila each and watch them try stay on the fucking balance beam. I know I'd pay to see that. Anything to help integrate disabled people into society and make them active, productive robots. I mean citizens, sorry. Which leads us perfectly onto the work capability assessment and this government's push to victimize the most vulnerable in society. I mean help restore the dignity of disabled people by finding them work. It's interesting to note that Esther McVey, the Minister for Disabled People on the government face of the Work Capability Assessment, has done the vagina monologues on stage, which is appropriate considering what a cunt she is. The fact that she used to be a television presenter just shows you that presentation comes before fucking content with those motherfuckers. And the assessment tests are fucking mental. In principle, it's a great idea to look at what work people can do, not just what they can't do. But the way it's being implemented is just fucked up. It's great that at last we have recognized that everyone has value and the trick is identifying that value. But it's getting to the point where they are taking the fucking piss. It's only a matter of time before some smart fucker at the top, the people who carry out these fucking assessments, hears the penny drop and has the right idea that there is definitely value in running a freak show at the fair. You could make a fucking mint watching my diabetic mate Dave try to use his insulin pen when he's on the brink of an epileptic seizure. You could take bets on whether he was gonna hit his thigh as intended or veer off and stab a bollock or maybe even his dick. Such excitement for everyone. Frankie Boyle once did some sketches about a paralyzed man who could feel no pain working in Hollywood as a stuntman cause of the added realism he could bring to the role. I just hope no fucker at the top sees it and has any more bright fucking ideas. What people fail to see is the immense contribution disabled people make to the economy every minute of our waking lives. We rely so heavily on medical care that the NHS is like our second fucking home. Now I don't wanna blind you with science and start yapping on about macro and microeconomic models of consumption, but stop and think for a minute how many fucking jobs disabled people sustain in the NHS, how many mortgages are paid by the wages earned caring for us. Fuck, if it wasn't for disabled people this country would be more crippled than me. And that's not to mention the fucking hardware we consume. 12 grand this set up here in front of me cost. Then there's the stair lift in my house, the hoist and the bath lift. The list goes on and on. Fuck, we should get a medal for services to the fucking economy, not slagged off for draining resources. It's this warped perception of disabled people that doesn't help when it comes to prejudice and abuse. I faced my fair share of abuse in my time. In fact, the other day this old bastard just exploded like a madman shouting obscenities at me. Fuck knows what his problem was. I did wreck my brain 'cause you start to think it's you. You start to think that it must be you causing the problems. Yes, maybe I should have waited till I got home to empty my stoma bag, but then again, his roses will come up a tree this year. When you're on the receiving end of prejudice and abuse of any kind, you start to spot subtle differences in people's behavior, and whilst my opinion of younger people who think it's okay to abuse anyone because of their sexuality, skin color, disability, you name it, is that they are anal fucking polyps on the rectum of life. Older people who hold prejudicial views are a whole different and complex proposition. I did touch on the good old days earlier when I mentioned the word invalid, so here's a suggestion, a little tip for the next time you hear an older person respond to a story about broken fucking Britain with the words, "Oh, aren't things getting bad? It wasn't like this in my day." Remind the fuckers that the Spastic Society had to change its name in 1994 to Scope because the term spastic had been so fucking misused as an insult that parents with disabled children felt that asking them for help might stigmatize their children, so they just struggled on alone. Or how about going further back to the 70s, when it was perfectly acceptable to describe anyone of African origin as a nigger? When corner shops were known as pocky shops. Oriental takeaways were known as chinkies, and homosexuals were openly called toughs. Maybe go a bit further back and remind them that being a tough was illegal until the 60s, and maybe trawl even further back into history and ask them if they know why. I doubt very much that they'll have a fucking clue about Henry VIII pushing through the Buggery Act in 1533. Oh, and this, aren't things getting bad, bullshit. They really do live in their own fucking dream world. I mean, why let the facts get in the way of a good fucking panic and a chance to slag off the younger generation? But the stats speak for themselves. Crime has been falling steadily for years, but there's a sometimes willing disconnect between the facts about crime and the perception of crime. And here's where we get the double fucking whammy. These people were brought up in a time of deference, a time where you obeyed authority without question and believed every fucking word you read in the newspaper or on the TV. And where does this modern perception of broken Britain come from? Point made, I think. But don't expect them to accept that their warped perception might be wrong. That would mean them stepping out of their blind fucking fantasy comfort zone, where they get some twisted sense of security from feeling threatened, but being able to seek solace in thoughts of a time past, a time of safety and security for them, but where if you were different in any way you were the target of relentless fucking abuse. maybe just leave them to it. They'll die off soon anyway, like dinosaurs tend to. I get a lot of abuse from teenagers too, but I know plenty of soldiers who were disabled in the Middle East who could kick their arses from their wheelchairs even now. I don't necessarily agree with warfare, but while these same tossers were playing Call of Duty in their bedrooms in between wanking over internet porn, my mates were doing it for real. Don't get me wrong, disabled people can be knobheads too. They're people like anyone else, and you get good and bad like anyone else. There's this old fucker who lives across the way from me. His house is covered with Union flags and BNP posters. He's even got stickers all over his mobility scooter. The kids from the local mosque keep disconnecting his battery when he's out and about. They do it at least once a week, and the repairman who comes is this huge Jamaican guy. You can see this old bastard's racist veins throbbing with fury as he's at the mercy of this huge black guy. The funny thing is he's nice as pie to him, the duplicitous old fucker. Serves the old bastard right.